During the Christmas gathering, while my daughter was arranging the table, my sister filmed a short clip of her and shared it on Facebook with the caption, "Check out this failure's child. She's so young and already playing maid." My parents chuckled at it. I felt a surge of anger and we left right away. The following day, my sister texted, "Why isn't the $900 coming out of your account?" I couldn't help but smile as I responded. Holidays at my parents' place had grown intolerable over time. It went beyond the strained atmosphere or the forced holiday spirit. It was the subtle, ongoing cruelty, the type that gets dismissed as just family teasing. But it wasn't teasing. It was Rebecca targeting someone to belittle and the rest of us going along with faint laughs to avoid conflict. She seemed to require a victim each year. One year it was our cousin fresh from a divorce. Another time our uncle for putting on weight. The previous year it had been me. This time, though, she picked my daughter. She's only 8. She still holds on to faith in kindness. She still believes family stands for something meaningful. And she loves Christmas. We'd spent days preparing side by side. She assisted with mashing the potatoes, worked the dough for our rolls, and kept peeking at the ham in the oven as if it were her special responsibility. She insisted on wearing her red sweater with the tiny white buttons. She calls it her dressy one. She beamed with pride as she helped carry in the dishes. Rebecca glanced at our contributions and announced loudly enough for all to hear that I still prepared meals like a 1950s homemaker without access to recipes online. Our mother let out a small laugh. Our father stayed focused on the game. My daughter appeared not to register it. Rebecca had a talent for framing everything as humor. She asked my daughter if she'd been promoted to chief helper that year. Then she leaned toward our mom, whispered something, and they both giggled. My daughter remained focused, folding napkins into neat triangles and aligning them precisely. She stayed silent, just continuing her task. That's when I noticed Rebecca holding her phone, recording. At first I assumed it was a sweet family moment, but I caught her laugh, then saw her pass the phone to our dad after whispering something. They both laughed. I knew immediately. I approached and extended my hand. She resisted giving it over, but I took it. It was footage of my daughter smoothing the tablecloth, carefully placing the silverware. The Facebook post was already live. "Check out this failure's child. She's so young and already playing maid." Likes were already appearing. I looked at Rebecca and demanded she remove it. She smirked, so I grasped her by the hair and led her into the hallway. It wasn't pure rage, it was reflex. All the years of holding back surfaced at once. She shouted, but I ignored it. I waited until she deleted it. No one intervened, not our mom, not our dad. Not even when Rebecca claimed I had lost my mind. I told my daughter it was time to go. I kept my voice steady. No tears. I simply said we were finished. My daughter glanced up and nodded. That was enough. We grabbed our coats and headed out. No one came after us. No farewells. At home, I prepared hot chocolate for us. My daughter mentioned she preferred it when it was just the two of us. Later, after she was asleep, I sat at the kitchen table and wept quietly into my palms. Not only for that evening, but for every occasion I'd allowed people like Rebecca to diminish me. I wondered how often my daughter had picked up on it without speaking up. That night a part of me shattered, or perhaps a part finally awakened. The next morning my phone lit up. "Rebecca, why isn't the $900 coming out of your account?" I stared and began to laugh genuinely. Then I called her and stated clearly that I no longer wanted her in my life. I meant every word. She assumed I was bluffing. Rebecca had always thought she held power over me. For years, she'd taken little things. Borrowing cash, crashing for a few days that stretched into weeks. Using my streaming accounts, requesting lifts even though she had her own car. I had always agreed. After losing my husband, I suppose I craved company, even if it was toxic. But this time was different. I was serious when I said she'd never get another cent from me. The day after Christmas, she sent 3 messages before 9. All variations. "Hey, something's wrong with your bank, can't pull the $900. Then a voice note, then a call I ignored. By midday, she rang again and I answered. She began as if we were allies. "There's an issue with your account." When I informed her I'd revoked her access, she gave that forced laugh she uses to mask panic. She asked if I was truly doing this over some silly Facebook post. I remained silent. The pause grew. She claimed she was ready to let it go if I apologized for grabbing her, and transferred the usual $900. I repeated that I wanted no further involvement in her life, that she needed to learn to manage her finances without relying on me. She went quiet briefly. Then the attacks began. She called me emotionally fragile, suggested it stemmed from grieving my late husband, not her actions. accused me of isolating myself and becoming a resentful shell. She insisted my daughter would forget the table incident in days, that I was the one causing trauma by escalating it into drama. I ended the call. Messages continued all day, guilt trips, manipulation, even subtle threats. She warned she'd involve our parents and let them settle it, as if there were some family tribunal. I silenced my phone and spent the evening making cookies with my daughter. She sensed nothing amiss. We played music and danced around the kitchen. The following morning, a knock came at 8:15. I opened to find her there, fully made up as if heading to an interview. She brushed past me without invitation. "We need to discuss this." She paced my kitchen as if it belonged to her, speaking rapidly, claimed she understood my upset, insisted the post was intended as humor, said our parents believed I overreacted. Then with a practiced gentle smile, she added, "But I'm here to forgive you." Forgive me. She settled in as if granting a favor, glanced at her phone and casually mentioned, "So if we resolve that $900 issue, we can put it behind us." I refused. She stared, waiting for the punchline, then leaned in. "Are you really doing this to show you're not a failure? That your kid isn't?" I slapped her. Not from blind fury, but from something accumulated. Decades of absorbing barbs, staying quiet, preserving harmony for those who never earned it. I opened the door and gestured out. She departed silently. That evening, my daughter asked if her aunt was upset. I explained we were establishing new boundaries now, and the first was, we no longer tolerate mistreatment. She nodded and returned to her coloring. The next morning brought the anticipated call from my parents. They skipped details, just stated we needed compromise. When they rang the following day, I recognized the purpose instantly. My dad spoke first, unusual. Typically, Mom handled smoothing, but his voice was steady, requesting I come over to discuss everything. I asked directly if Rebecca would be present. He confirmed as if it were obvious, adding she wanted resolution. That confirmed it. I wasn't invited to share my side. I was expected for correction, yet I agreed, not from weakness, from curiosity. I needed to witness their loyalty to her, to hear it plainly so I'd stop questioning my reaction, to confirm my true place in that family. I told my daughter we were visiting Grandma and Grandpa again. She inquired about her aunt. I said yes. She showed no enthusiasm but asked nothing further. She packed a book and markers, saying she'd stay quiet during adult talk. Rebecca's car was already there upon arrival. I parked behind it and paused, staring at the door. I sensed the outcome. My daughter unbuckled and said, "Let's just get it done." Inside matched my expectations. Rebecca lounged on the couch, coffee in hand, relaxed. Mom rose with a tense smile. Dad nodded formally, as if mediating. We took seats. My daughter tucked into a corner with her book, eyes down. The contrast struck me. Her purity, her quiet against the brewing hostility. Mom began, expressed sadness over our conflict, especially during holidays. Said matters had escalated. Emotions ran high. I listened without comment. Dad suggested hearing both perspectives. I looked to Rebecca. No apology came. She regretted if the post landed poorly. Claimed I was clearly stressed and fragile, and had she anticipated my extreme reaction, she wouldn't have shared it. Framed it as my instability meeting her innocent wit. Added that my daughter hadn't even noticed, no harm done. I had manufactured the issue. I asked if she'd appreciate someone posting her child online labeled a servant. She rolled her eyes. It was humor, a silly joke. You're the only one assigning meaning. Then, unable to resist, feels like you've been waiting to feel superior. Mom intervened, no turning it competitive, noted Rebecca's struggles, barely covering rent. Suggested my increased recent support might make her feel insecure. I questioned the relevance to my daughter's online humiliation. Silence. Rebecca then detailed her finances, ex not paying support, new shoes for her boys. Bills bouncing, no other help, familiar script, every crisis, every plea masked as openness. Then, you were assisting fine before. So what's truly changed? Trying to prove superiority now, there it was, the core anger. Not my actions, but my withdrawal, financial and emotional. I refused further payment. Said my aid was generosity, not duty, and she'd abused it. She laughed in disbelief. You're seriously discarding family over a post? Over parenting pride? I rose, signaled my daughter. She gathered her things instantly. As we neared the door, Rebecca called, "You really think you're better?" I paused, glanced back once, then left unanswered. That marked my final visit there. I assumed departure ended it. Expected Rebecca to complain, then target someone new. She always recovered, usually via another's generosity. I paid little mind until weeks later, a message from a vague acquaintance. Rebecca's former neighbor. Brief prior interaction helping with groceries during one of her emergencies. She wrote, "Sorry to intrude, but thought you'd want to know your sister's evacuating. Kids' items by the trash, selling belongings. She doesn't seem well." I didn't reply, just processed while my daughter built Legos nearby. That evening, returning from shopping, I impulsively drove by her townhouse. Blinds gone, door ajar. One boy on the step eating cereal from a large bowl, watching a damaged tablet, feet dangling. Interior barren, not moving boxes, but stripped. Some cartons, but no furniture beyond laundry heaps and a mattress against the wall. I continued driving. My daughter stayed silent. Next morning, Mom called, voice heavy. Said Rebecca and boys were downsizing to a smaller unit. Added that she and Dad would now assist with rent. Pause, then. "Are you satisfied now?" Not a question, an indictment. I replied I felt no satisfaction, just exhaustion, tired of funding cruelty. She warned, "Don't expect our help next time you need it." I assured her I wouldn't. Mostly concluded, except days later, bank alerts. Multiple failed logins from unknown device. Denied reset attempts, I knew instantly. Updated all security immediately. Passwords, questions, reports, bank monitored. I told no one, kept it private. Then Rebecca's Facebook post. Vague hardship plea, donations for kids, fresh start. No apology, no context. GoFundMe link. My daughter glimpsed it. Asked, "That's the aunt who called me a servant?" I paused, asked if she recalled. She said, "I stayed quiet so you wouldn't cry again." That struck deepest. She'd absorbed everything. The clip, the strain, my kitchen tears. I'd aimed to shield her, unaware she was already soaked. That night post-bedtime, I retrieved my late husband's small keepsake box. Notes, pictures, his watch, a USB. I viewed an old video, him in the kitchen with toddler her pouring batter. Spill everywhere, she neared tears, he laughed. "Perfect, now you know one way not to." Cleaned her hands. "You're doing wonderfully." I watched, recalling his encouragement, how he built confidence, safety. That's what I protected, not vengeance, peace, proper future. Yet Rebecca wasn't finished. Her quiet meant scheming. Weeks passed with only her GoFundMe circulating, lengthy tales of struggle for her children. No mention of fallout, no reference to the sister or drained support. I stayed silent, let others accept her narrative. Then cousin Julia messaged late, distant now, but childhood close. "Didn't want involvement, but Rebecca claims you assaulted her before your child, says she's afraid." Scared of me. The one who shamed a child publicly, who attempted account breach, who demanded cash and absolution together. I didn't reply, no defense, weary of correcting preferred fictions. Days later, Mom's group text, invited all for dinner. Time for adult resolution. Grudges harming family, Rebecca attending, promised calm, important. I nearly declined, but sought final clarity, not reconciliation, confirmation of choices. We arrived deliberately late, house unchanged. Table set similarly, Rebecca already dominating conversation. My daughter entered quietly, observant, same red sweater. Rebecca noticed, smirked. Dinner began tensely. Avoidance until Dad urged forward movement. Mom teary prepared remarks. Rebecca dominated, regretted if I felt hurt. Never meant offense, disliked my physical response, nightmares now, willing to forgive if I acknowledged excess. I let her speak. She pivoted to finances. Smaller apartment, boys adjusting poorly, doing her best. Noted my stability, her hardship unfamiliar to me. Needed temporary aid, not full prior amount, just usual. That revealed everything. I refused permanently. Her expression shifted, anger at lost control, called me selfish. Punishing her children for pride. Grudge over joke. Victim mentality now involving my daughter. Mom soothed. Dad averted gaze. Then Rebecca, "What's this truly? Proving you're not a failure? Your kid isn't." My daughter rose silently. No tears, grabbed coat, waited in hall. I stilled, stood, declared finality. No responsibility for her life choices, ease. Told parents they could support as desired. But I was out, emotionally, financially, fully, no interference. We exited. In car, daughter requested ice cream, as if routine complete. I saw she'd grasped sooner, leaving isn't harsh. Remaining is, over 6 months now. 6 months since that table revealed truths, not via explosion. Via quiet choices, sitting while my child was insulted, money requested simultaneously. 6 months, no parental contact, no inquiries, not even her birthday weeks later. She noticed, asked nothing. Learned Rebecca relocated again, via forwarded post seeking furniture. Cheaper area, basic finishes. Works part-time resale, gripes about management. Boys switched schools, blames everyone, me included. Parents cover her rent, occasional groceries. View themselves as rescuers for difficult phase. Easier than acknowledging raising one who destroys, favoring her. I no longer mind. Once, exclusion would devastate. I'd mend, justify, conform for harmony. Now transformed, I don't miss them. No forced grins, subtle critiques, concern-veiled manipulation. No Rebecca stage stealing, unexplained tension. No feigned normalcy for tradition. Best my daughter flourishes, still reserved but engaged. Masters recipes I attempted later in life. Recently solo dinner, honey lime chicken, roasted potatoes, set table napkins triangulated perfectly. I observed quietly. Post-meal praised extravagantly. She replied, "It's nicer with just us." Indeed, we conversed deeply, shared humor. Saturday markets, inventing vendor tailies. Sundays experimenting, kitchen dancing to classics she discovers. More laughter. More ease, no eggshells, no awaiting jabs, demands, misplaced apologies. I once believed family demanded endless protection, sacrificing dignity, peace, self. Now wiser, family is safety, trust, being truly seen, not exploited. They chose, I didn't lose them, they lost me. Nothing worthwhile vanished. Occasionally ponder potential return, Rebecca needing mom guilt apologizing, but response clear. When patterns repeat, stop seeking wished versions, stop justifying, stop readmitting arsonists. Some label it severance, I call it securing the door.